The 12th Expeditionary Fleet had been bleeding for 73 days. Admiral Vexthaler stood on the command deck of the Vengeance of Korath. Ozone and recycled fear filled the air. 14,000 crew breathed the same metallic tang. His ceremonial plate was polished, except for one hollow absence where his last adjutant's name used to be engraved, before the shrapnel took him. The tactical display showed 847 realloy ships. Then the numbers changed. 847 became 400, then 200, then 80, then nothing. He did not sit down. He did not speak. He understood. A human voice came over the open channel, calm, unreadable. You asked for ships, we sent the silence. What happened next? It wasn't ships, it wasn't weapons. It was a frequency, and the Vrethkai didn't even know they had asked for it. Stay with me. 73 days earlier, Ambassador Weasel stood in the diplomatic gallery on Pale Reach. The outer ring was built for species 3 times her size. She touched the worn data crystal at her throat, warm against her skin. Her grandmother's voice, recorded 60 years ago, whispered through bone conduction, listened for the chorus. She had waited 47 years to understand what that meant. A Vorkai delegate passed without looking at her. Delegate Korath. He had the posture of a being who had never been wrong. Isol spoke. The humans will not send ships. Korath waved a scaled hand. Procedural. Form 7 Alpha. She watched him leave. She had been watching human trade routes for 47 years. 18 cycles ago, they quietly rerouted 12 cargo lanes through Vrethkai space. No one else noticed. No one else had been listening. Commander Elias Vance sat in the ready room of the Sparrow's Rest. He drank chamomile from a chipped ceramic cup his daughter had made at age 7. He had not filed a distress call in 11 years. 19 years in service. Faced like a man who had already read the ending and found it acceptable. The priority black routing arrived. 6 words. He read them twice. The chip in the cup's glaze caught the overhead light. He set the cup down, picked up the pad. Read again. The dormant chorus is en route. Vance called Lieutenant Commander Okonkwo. Plot a course for Vrethkai space. Okonkwo, scar across his left palm, ran 14,000 simulations before asking a single question. He did not ask. He plotted. Reyes touched the photograph of his grandfather's wheat field in Castile. Then he checked the aft docking ring welds. They were tighter than regulation. He did not know why he tightened them. Something unplanned would need to dock. He trusted the instinct. Weasel stood outside Korath's office. A Vrethkai tactical officer, Thesser reported to the delegate. We searched every database. No registry. No designation. 6 words, the dormant chorus is en route. Nothing. Isol stepped forward. They have been listening for 400 years. The conclave classified them non-expansionist and stopped watching. Korath looked at her. She was the smallest species in the room. He did not reply. She touched the crystal. Warm. Her grandmother's voice. Listen for the chorus. She did not play it. Not yet. She watched Korath dismiss her report. She watched him file Form 7 Alpha, requesting 40 ships. Maybe 60. The message traveled across 4.2 light-years. The human patrol cutters were not asleep. They were waiting. Vance at the muster point. 8 cutters arrived. Then 12. Then 17. Each one built for patrol. Crews of 8 to 32. Ceramic composite hulls. Defensive countermeasures only per registry. Ensign Kira Voss stood at her console. First deployment, 23 years old. Headset smelled of new plastic. She wrote unsent messages to her mother. She did not know if she would ever send them. Vance walked the line. He looked at each face. Voss, Okonkwo, Reyes, you will not fire a single weapon. No one asked why. They had signed up for a reason. They knew why. Reyes checked the welds again. Something unplanned. He did not ask what. He just tightened. Voss practiced the tone sequence on her console. 440 Hz, 4 seconds. 880, 1320. She got it wrong twice. Vance corrected her without looking up from his tea. She asked him what it did. He said, it's just a tone. The chorus does the rest. She did not ask what the chorus was. The 17 cutters crossed into Vrethkai space. Thaler's tactical display showed them as small green dots. 17. He muttered. They sent 17 ships. Out of an entire fleet. He had already filed the report in his head. Vance gave the order. Voss transmitted the tone. 440 Hz, 4 seconds. 880 1320. A chord, then silence. She waited. Okonkwo's console screamed. Not a warning, something else. 12,000 autonomous sensor platforms registered the tone. Cargo container sized, zero heat, zero drive plume.
Zero EM signature except the tone. They had been waiting for 400 years. Thaler's display changed. 12,000 new contacts. No heat signature, no registry, no alliance, not ships, not weapons, something else. The chorus bloomed across every tactical screen.
140,000 simulations per second ran on Okonkwo's console. Every Reloi ship tagged, every weakness cataloged. The swarm mind, invisible to conventional sensors, was suddenly the most visible thing in the sector. Thaler, what is happening? The chorus had already answered. It had mapped the Reloi communication lattice. Interference patterns began. The Reloi did not see jamming. They saw reflections of themselves, contradictory, impossible to reconcile. The swarm mind could not distinguish itself from its own reflection. For the first time in 2,000 years, it saw itself as others saw it, and it could not handle what it saw. Ship 7 drifted. Ship 12 fired. The swarm mind had no internal enemy until the chorus showed it one. Thaler stood at the display. The same ozone smell, the same 14,000 crew, but now it was happening in real time. 847 ships, the fleet that had taken 4 of his systems, the fleet that had bled him for 73 days. 847 became 400. He did not sit. He did not speak. His scaled arms unfolded for the first time in 73 days. Ceremonial plate caught the light of a fleet dying without a single human weapon firing. 400 became 200. Thesser said, "The interference pattern is self-perpetuating." Thaler did not understand. He had been measuring the wrong thing his entire life. He had measured ships. He had measured weapons. He had measured noise. 200 became 80. Then silence. The tactical display showed nothing where 847 ships used to be. The ozone smell was still there. The 14,000 crew breathed it. The metallic tang of desperation had become the metallic tang of a world that no longer understood its own physics. A voice on the open channel. Not Vrethkai. Human. Vance. Same calm tone as the transmission 22 days ago. You asked for ships. We sent the silence. He did not say you're welcome. He did not gloat. He just stated what happened. No declaration. No warning. No mercy. Just a frequency and 847 ships that no longer had a way to tell themselves apart. Thaler did not file a report. He had no language for what he had witnessed. Across 4.2 light-years, Vance poured another cup of chamomile. He told Voss, "Send the message you've been writing." Wisol stood in the empty diplomatic gallery. The outer ring was silent. No delegates, no Korath, no Thesser. She was the only one who stayed. She touched the data crystal at her throat. It was warm. Her grandmother's voice, recorded 60 years ago, whispered, "Listen for the chorus." Isolde did listen. She heard it through the tone. She heard it through the silence. She spoke to the empty room. "You asked for ships because you thought strength looked like ships." They have been listening for 400 years. When the galaxy finally asked them to speak, they did not send words. They sent a frequency. And the silence that followed was the loudest thing the galaxy has ever heard. 6 cycles later, human trade routes were no longer quietly rerouted. They were openly mapped. The Conclave had added a new category to Form 7 Alpha, non-kinetic response authorized. Isolde walked out of the gallery. The crystal was warm against her throat. She did not play the recording. She did not need to. The chorus had already answered. The gallery door closed behind her. The crystal's warmth faded as she stepped into the corridor. The silence in the room was thick, heavy, the kind of silence that used to be called peace. She carried it with her like a name she had always known.